You take your aim far away, far away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am
MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. Yeah, how do we start this one today? Anyways, today is Wednesday, February the 16th of 2022. Day 47th of the year and only 318 days left to go. And I guess the next thing I should say is this is also known as episode 500. Who would have ever thought from the beginning of this thing we would have ever made it to the 500th episode? So here we are right now hanging out. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And we are also hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we get to do things at.
Radio.
Okay, so we are hanging out with our friends at Radio Big as we get to do our thing. I have to tell you, I am I'm kind of in a weird one today, in regards of this, because I would have never thought that we would have made it this far, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a bit. But let's get moving and grooving and start talking about some of the things that are going on inside of here. So taking it from the very top, we are going to talk about the world of news. We're going to talk about the world of safety and a combination thereof. So we'll go from there. Anyways, we're taking a look at what was trending in the overnight. Let's talk about it. Remington and Sandy Hook were trending as multiple outlets reported that the families of the 9 victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting and the gun maker agreed to a $73 million settlement. The families stated that they believe that Remington never should have made the weapon used in the shooting available to the public. That was what was going on yesterday. BioShock was trending on Tuesday after Netflix revealed it's working on a film based on the video game. Prince Andrew landed on Twitter's top 10 as information was circulating about him. And then Helena Hutchins was trending yesterday as multiple outlets reported a new lawsuit associated to her death. And, of course, Taco Tuesday was trending yesterday as well because, well, it was Taco Tuesday, and why not trend Taco Tuesday on a Taco Tuesday? So there you go. That's some information there on that. So let's talk about this real quick because it is Wednesday. So let's talk about both sides of the equation of what is going on, what is moving, what is grooving, and everything inside of there. So if we're taking a look at the charts on the top books that were out and about and so on, let's talk about it. According to the top 5 fiction books and non-fiction books, according to the New York Times bestsellers, here at number 5 was The Maid in the fiction category. At number 4 was Ugly Love. At number 3 was Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. At number 2 was Fertility. And at number 1 in the fiction category, It Ends With Us. Colin Hoover actually is twice on that list, so apparently some good stuff going on there. If you're looking in the nonfiction category, it goes like this. At number 5, How to Be Perfect. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, I was interacting with somebody yesterday that was pretending that they were perfect. Oh, that's a whole other story. At number 4 was The Power of Regret. At number 3, The Body Keeps the Score. At number 2, The 1619 Project. And at the number 1 spot, according to the New York Times bestsellers list, was Red Handed, was at numero uno yesterday as the things were going down inside of there. Anyway, so let's start doing the things that we need to do and moving here. What I am going to do is I'm going to bring in my friends at Feature Story News. They're going to give you some information on what's going on inside of the world of the news. We'll give you the 3-minute variation of that, and then we'll bring in some of our new correspondents here in regards of what is going on. So take a listen to this one. No, seriously, take a listen to this one.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. NATO defence ministers are meeting for talks in Brussels amid fears of a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine. Moscow says it has no intention of invading. Ministers will discuss reinforcing deployments on the alliance's eastern flank. From Brussels, FSN's Rosie Burchard reports.
The 2-day meeting of NATO defence ministers takes place in a tense atmosphere amid fears that a Russian invasion of Ukraine could be imminent. On Tuesday, Moscow announced it was moving some troops back from near the Ukrainian border after military exercises. Ahead of the NATO meeting, Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said there was still time to find a diplomatic solution to the crisis, suggesting there were grounds for cautious optimism, but warning he had not seen any concrete signs of de-escalation.
But we will continue to monitor the signs coming from Moscow about a willingness to continue to engage in diplomatic efforts.
Moscow denies having any intention of invading Ukraine, but does want Kiev barred from ever joining the NATO defensive alliance, something NATO members say they will never agree to. Rosie Burchard, Brussels.
Ottawa's police chief has quit after 3 weeks of anti-vaccine mandate protests, which have brought parts of the city to a halt. Peter Slowly says he's done everything possible to end the unprecedented and unforeseeable crisis. British media reports Prince Andrew will pay Virginia Giuffre more than £12 million as part of their out-of-court settlement. The Duke of York made no admission of liability in the agreement, which ends the civil sexual assault case against him. He had previously said he'd fight to clear his name over allegations of sexual assault that he denied. Prince Andrew's now facing calls to clarify how he is paying the settlement cash. PR consultant Mark Bukowski says he can't see Andrew returning to royal duties.
One can see that the royal family has distanced themselves from him and this story, and all his official duties have now been taken away. I don't think this is going to be anywhere near any recovery for Prince Andrew.
India's reportedly banned 54 mobile apps with Chinese links. The government hasn't released an official list, but some of the apps are already unavailable on app stores in the country, as Ishan Garg reports from FSN's bureau in New Delhi.
Allegations are that these apps store and process data on servers based in China. Reports say this is why Indian officials consider them to be potential national security risks. Many are worried that Indian users' data may be used by Chinese officials. The country had banned 59 apps in 2020 after a deadly border clash with China, and that list has since grown to more than 300 apps. With relations between India and China showing no signs of improvement, analysts say more global companies could become collateral damage in the future. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's ready for talks with the U.S. and doesn't want war with Ukraine. His comments come as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin takes part in a 2-day meeting of NATO defense ministers in Brussels.
You've heard us say a number of times that we're committed to Article 5 and also the principles of collective security. You can expect that commitment will remain rock solid going forward.
Putin also now says he'll rely on negotiations to pursue his key foreign policy demand that Ukraine never be allowed to join NATO. President Biden talked about the tension over Ukraine in a speech to the nation on Tuesday, saying, "We are ready with diplomacy." He again warned Putin that an attack on Ukraine would be met with overwhelming international condemnation and consequences. Another blast of winter is forcing millions across the country to bundle up. A new storm is spreading through the west right now and is is expected to hit several central states by tonight before stretching to the East Coast. This could again lead to massive flight cancellations. Team USA is getting another chance to add to its medal count in the Winter Olympics. The U.S. women's ice hockey team will face Canada in the gold medal game tonight. The men's hockey team got knocked out of the tournament by Slovakia in a penalty shootout. A young girl kidnapped 2 years ago is alive in a home in upstate New York. Saugerties Police Chief Joseph Sinagra says Paisley Schultes, who was reported missing when she was 4 years old, was found underneath some steps.
They saw a small set of feet, and as they removed boards, they discovered Paisley.
Back in 2019, Paisley's abductors were believed to be her non-custodial parents, Kimberly Cooper and Kirk Schultes Jr., but the case went cold. Acting on a tip, police arrested Cooper, Schultes, and Schultes' father Monday night. The young girl was found to be in good health and reunited with her older sister. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, come in real close. I got something to share with you. Not everybody has a beautiful head. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can pull off the shaved head look. Hey, I'm not digging on people. I'm just bringing it up. Some people out there are losing their hair. Now, I want to tell you about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultation and medication delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't even have to leave your home. Think about that. There's other things that you have to leave your home to be able to pick up, not with Keeps. They have low-cost treatments that start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. It's discreet packaging and proven results. Now think about this for a moment. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 5 months to see results. So act fast. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month for free. KEEPS.com/safety. Now just remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head like mine.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Currently 15 minutes after the top of the hour. We are broadcasting on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm. Radio station first, streaming service second. You know how this goes. We have this conversation all the time. Anyway, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world as you are here to hang out and listen to some of the things that are going on inside of the world of the news. A small boat launched by a group of New Hampshire middle school students last October made it all its way to Norway. Yeah, made it all the way to Norway. The 6-foot-long vessel contains photos, leaves, acorns, state quarters, and the tracking device that was found 462 days after it set off to the sixth graders, a small island near Drines, according to the Portsmouth Herald. So there you go. While it had lost its hull and keel, the deck of cargo did hold across the 8,300-mile journey. By the way, the student who found the boat brought it to school, opened it with the classmates, and the school is now planning to call the middle school in New Hampshire. So I guess they'll be doing some kind of zoomy video chat thing, because that seems to be the cool thing to do now. That's what the cool kids are doing.
Duh.
So that's what it sounds like. Anyways, the first woman and third person ever has reportedly been cleared of HIV after receiving a treatment involving an umbilical cord blood transplant. The study, led by researchers in New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center in New York, was shared on Tuesday in a conference about infectious diseases in Denver. The woman is now 14 months post-transplant, and her blood shows no trace of the virus. So there you go. Congratulations on that one. Anyways, the pair of drunken and naked sisters from New Jersey that brawled it out in Disney World. The duo is seen tussling in the bushes after one slipped on the other vomits, according to a Disney blog. The incident, which happened last October, but is just now circulating, has been described as a potential plot of an episode of Jersey Shore. Both were arrested for misdemeanor domestic violence, battery, and disorderly intoxication. It is unknown if they were at the parks with any children. It is also unknown what happened to their clothing. So there you go. I guess I'm not familiar with this one. So there were naked sisters rolling around, getting into a little hustle tussle, tazzle wazzle is what it sounds like. That ended up being a little nudesters when it was all said and done. So I guess that makes it some interesting times. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Illegal drugs coming from across the southern border are now staying in the South. Last week, a 16-year-old from Bloomsville, Connecticut, nearly died after trying marijuana, not knowing that it was laced with fentanyl. Officers arrived with Narcan just in time to save the life. A 13-year-old in Hartford, Connecticut was not so lucky. He died in the school's gym from a fentanyl overdose. The drugs are able to be made their way and all over the country on your dime. Those smuggling the drugs are able to travel easily and provide bus tickets and planes. It's been largely funded by the taxpayers, according to what some of the people are saying down inside of the South area. So it's interesting to take a listen and take a look to it. So this becomes that weird scenario and weird question there of how are the drugs hitting the streets. We have an idea how when you say that they're coming in from the South and they're staying South. I don't know about you, but I don't consider Connecticut South, but that's just me. And how are the kids getting a hold of it? That would be the other portion of the discussion to possibly have. So keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, farmers on the high alert after new report of bird flu. It was first announced last week. The virus was found in a commercial turkey flock in Indiana and a commercial chicken farm in Kentucky. The 29,000 birds were killed to prevent the spreading. Government officials say that they have plans to quickly stop the spread after having dealt with the 2015 outbreak and killed 50 million birds across 15 states. Rumor is that the plan involves social distancing of the birds and mask mandates. They also have been in talks of vaccines. So that will be some times to take a look at some other stuff that is going on inside of the world. So anyways, let's continue talking about some other things because there's a lot of stuff going on inside of this world. So let's bring in some Johnny Smalls for him to tell you what is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Equities rebounded Tuesday after Russian President Vladimir Putin withdrew some troops from the Ukrainian border. The news was met with relief. Tensions seem to be subsiding, but the risk remains high in the region. It's doubtful Putin has given up on his hopes of taking Ukraine, but we shall see. The move in equities also comes despite much hotter than expected inflation data. The Producer Price Index rose 1% in January, twice the expectation, with year-over-year gains approaching 10%. The news adds to the expectation of aggressive FOMC interest rate action, but was shrugged off by the market. While the inflation data points at aggressive Fed action, it also points to a hot economy, and one not likely slowed by a few 25 basis point rate hikes. The risk for the economy now is that rising rates are going to add to inflationary pressures. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, for letting us know what exactly is going on inside of that world. Anyways, let's talk about some other news that are circulating right now and things that are happening inside of your neck of the woods, possibly. Anyway, senators to introduce a Kids Online Safety Act. Take a listen to this real quick. 2 U.S. senators will introduce a bill that would protect children online. The Kids Online Safety Act would require social media platforms to provide with tools to protect their children from harmful content online, including sexual exploration, bullying, product, and recommendations. Take a listen to this.
It imposes a duty of care, a legal responsibility that's enforceable against the big tech platform if they drive this content through the black box algorithms.
Okay, so the Democrat Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, and he's co-sponsoring the bill along with the Republican Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. So there you go, some interesting stuff always going on inside of their show. The Kids Safety Act seems to be pretty important to be able to talk about, and it'll be something to see how it actually does help and what will be some of the standards and guidelines and the recommendations that are out there. Because children's safety is pretty crucial to what is going on inside of the world, and something that we should probably be talking about all the time. And how will that legislature look across the board? Something to think about as we are talking on this lovely Wednesday, 23 minutes past the top of the hour, as we will continue forward and talking about some other things going on inside of the world. Anyways, let's talk about this one real quick. Chicago top doctors remains hopeful about ending mask mandates. Chicago's top doctors remain hopeful that the city would end the indoor mask mandates at the same time in Illinois on February the 28th. Health Commissioner Dr. Allison Ardward said that COVID-19 numbers are improving in the city, adding that a final determination could be made next week.
If we are not able to move on the 28th, I think it would probably be not very long after that. But if it's the difference of just a few days, I don't think it's worth the potential confusion to the public.
So I already said that the mandate on face coverings and the proof of vaccination of many venues will remain in place until 3 out of the 4 COVID metrics fall to the lowest of the second lowest category of risk. So there you go. A lot of fun stuff going on inside of there. We'll take a listen to what is going on as we get closer to the timeline of the 28th. I mean, we're talking now 12 days away before we would be able to see anything, as we are talking this morning about some crucial stuff as we are moving forward. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. A winner for the Powerball ticket for Monday night's drawing was sold in Connecticut. Yes, that did make the news. The winner has the option of a $185 million jackpot or $122.4 million cash payout. Tonight's drawing will be for a $20 million jackpot or a $13.4 million cash payout. So there you go, some options right there. Fun fact, the winning ticket was announced the same day as the government proclaimed the February 15th Connecticut Lottery Day, as the Connecticut Lottery marked its 50th anniversary. I guess that's an interesting twist of things on how those things ended up happening. So, you would almost think, is that a plant? Is that a plant on how that ended up occurring? That would be the whole occasion and equation of that whole thing as we are talking here. this morning. Anyways, let's continue as we have other things that are going on inside of here and inside of the world. Anyways, so as I was taking a look this morning, and of course, people are talking about this and people wanting to know about this. Is it time to talk about what is going on inside of the Olympics? Because I think that that is part of the occasion of things that people deem important during this time. Anyways, Olympic medal count after 11 days of competition. Let's talk about this. Norway has 12 gold, 7 silver, 7 bronze. Russia has 4 gold, 7 silver, 9 bronze. Germany has 9 gold, 6 silvers, 3 bronze. The U.S. has 7 gold, 6 silver, 4 bronze. And Canada has 2 gold, 4 silver, and 11 bronze. So there you go. I guess that's what the count is. Now, I will tell you, it's always amazing to me when you take a look at some of these things that these people go out there and talk about and do. And the amount of work that's put behind of what they have to do inside of the Olympics. And think about this. We've been talking for weeks in regards of how they were setting up in some of these things and the standpoint of what they have to do that's COVID related, that's really a safety requirement while they're there. Some of the mask mandates, how some of the things that are actually taking place on where they're actually staying location wise. It's a lot of interesting stuff when you start thinking about the whole picture of things. Think about it. Kind of an interesting time to be living as it comes through in a lot of these things that we talk about and we're moving forward with. Anyways, let me tell you real quick the most important thing that I will tell you during the whole show real quick. And let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255 or text the word TALK to 741-741. Or you can always go to their website at afsp.org. That is afsp.org. Listen, we can't do what we do in this world without you. Nobody else can play your part, that's for sure. Listen, local chapters are available throughout the U.S. And, of course, it's also the suicide prevention hotline. So even if you're not here, there's more information that's available. And learn how to deal with mental health during these COVID times directly onto their website. It might not be information that you might need currently, but it might be information that you can actually share with other people. So there you go. Some information always going forward inside of there. So let's continue talking this morning as we are 28 minutes past the top of the hour. And I think we're close enough to do it. So maybe let's go ahead and do that right now. And let's go ahead and talk about our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So. It's kind of amazing taking a look back and looking at this and all of a sudden noticing that it has been 500 episodes. 500 episodes so far today. 500 episodes of this show that you had requested in regards of getting this thing put together. So now we're taking a look at this 500 episodes in, and it's amazing to me, still going through this whole thing, that we talk about all the things that are going on inside of the world here and inside of the world of safety. And it started off as a rant show. As you know, we had people call in and they would rant about what is going on, which is still an available option of doing. All they have to do is go into callinradio.com to be able to do that. But what it really was for a long period of time for people talking about what they did not like about the world of safety that was going on inside of their organization. And we got it. We shared a lot of that information. We got some people that got so concerned about what was going on that we would do those voice changers for a period of time. We would do those whole things in regards of actually helping them hide their voice where they could talk exactly about what was going on. And then it kind of developed to let's find safety into the news. So we did a combination of both things. And it's amazing if you pay close attention on how much safety there is in the news. You have to look at all the finer details of all these things. and some of the changes that are going on inside of the different organizations, what's going on the roadways in the world, in all these different things. And there's so many different elements, but you have to know how to find them. And I think it's funny that till this day, we have a combination of listeners from the very beginning and listeners that take a listen and go, well, things have changed and there's a lot of information related to the news. But pay attention to the news and you'll notice that there is a lot of safety there. But also, as we've went through this thing, it's kind of evolved and changed. We went from doing it once a week to now doing it daily, which is really interesting. And then all of a sudden now being full-blown radio station, not one, but two, on having the show actually go through, which is always interesting to me in regards on how it ends up working out. But I've been amazed in taking a look at what has happened about this. I've spoken to more people behind the scenes and spoken to people that are going forward and getting involved in safety. And now they're able to go out there and find places where they can learn safety. And when I talk about learn safety, I'm talking about actually learning it from the full standpoint of getting a degree. And it's interesting to hear how some of the portions have evolved, where you can tie this into a business degree, where you can get a degree that's actually related to safety as well, but you're able to learn how to talk at the same time inside of the organization, of being able to speak to the finance world, to be able to speak to the operation world on how these things need to move. And it makes sense that finally we're getting to those particular point that we're able to do these things. Now, the other portion here that we would need to talk about is because of a lot of the behind the scene things that we get to do, I'm always distracted, because that's really what it is, when I hear people talk about that when they originally got into safety many, 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 many years ago, it was more along the lines of a punishment. It really wasn't a career thing that they had available at the time. It was more along the lines of, well, they didn't know what else to do with me, so they have moved me there. And it was almost looked at from the fashion of, these are the tickets to my downfall. These are the tickets to where I am not going to be able to move from my career. Now, as we look at this now, things have changed. And there's so many different schools. I mean, there are some that are starting to do these programs, but there's schools online that are available to help you out with this in this particular regard. There's schools that you're available to go to in person to be able to do this. So I don't know. I look at it and go, is it really tickets to your downfall anymore? Why do people still kind of put that weird swing of things on when it comes to the world of safety? And the interesting part is we can really look at it and go, there's so many different things. Some people just use that as a word. Some people also use it from the format of, well, there's different types of safety. Well, there is different types, but I guess at the end of the day, it all boils down to the same thing. It's really trying to make sure that people make it home safely or in better conditions than what they were in. That's one way to look at it. So as we sit back today and think about maybe years that you might have been in the safety world, or maybe years or months that you have just started, what is this career trajectory? Because I think that things will be so different as we start taking a look 5 years from now, 10 years from now, in regards of what is going on information-wise. Think about it for a moment. Think about how different it is from the moment that you started inside of here to the moment to where we're at now. Things will consistently change inside of this world. I mean, things always change. It's just really the way that it boils down to. But what will be the next step in the evolution of this? I mean, I take a look at a lot of the information that's available out there, and I look at what people deem safety 1 and what people deem safety 2. And it's always amazing to me. Like, if you would have told me years ago that there would have been a radio station just dedicated to safety, I would have been, what? Now. And it's amazing just to see on how some of these subject matters are changing out there, where these are becoming discussions inside of boardrooms, opposed to just discussions that are things that are going on, behind the back door over there. Now they're front and center, which I don't think that was the same thing as it was at the time that I started in this almost 20 years ago. So I don't know. It's an interesting twist of things as we talk. Anyways, I appreciate you taking a listen to what we always have going on here on safetyfm.com. So it's amazing just to take a listen and go, what do you see the next evolution to be? That's the thing to talk about. Maybe that's the thing that we need to move forward with and go, okay, the evolution will be what you want it to be and how you lead it. That's how evolutions work. Evolutions most of the times lead to revolutions. Think about it in that fact. Anyways, you're listening to the Rated R Safety Show on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face. And posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss.
They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Coming down, but it's you who have further to fall. Ghost town, haunted love. Raise your voice, sticks and stones may break.
Okay, there you go. That is some David Guetta featuring Sia with Titanium.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, far away.
This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
Take your aim, far away, far away.
It's hard to believe that this song's already 11 years old. Anyways, thanks to David Guetta and Sia for allowing us to use this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, 42 minutes past the top of the hour. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. We are still streaming on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm exclusively if you want to come and hang out, listen to music, and do the things that we do over there. So there you go. There you go. There you go. As we will have some fun doing some things over there. Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff that's going on, because it's always interesting when we start taking a look at a combination of things that are going on inside of the world here. So I don't know. We have been talking back and forth to some of the correspondents that are out there in regards of what is going on, and maybe it is time to start talking about some of the plans of what is well, hold on, that I just lost that thing on my computer. What some of the things that are going on in some of the other areas of the country. So let's take a listen to some of the severe weather that is hitting. So take a listen to this.
This one's not going to be fun if you're in Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago. This storm is going to have multiple problems with it. We could deal with tornadoes, ice jams, flooding, high wind damage, fires. I mean, this whole thing could be kind of nuts over the next couple of days.
So starting today, snow is likely from northern Texas to New England, with severe storms from Texas to Virginia. Heavy rains could lead to flooding in southern plains and in the southern Appalachian starting tonight. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on outside there in the roadways if you are hanging out and doing the things that you do out there. So take a look at that. What else do we have going on inside from our correspondents? Let's talk about this one here right now. Here's some Michael Kastner to actually talk about some information of what's going on.
2 U.S. senators will introduce a bill today they hope will protect children online. The Kids Online Safety Act would require social media platforms to provide parents with tools to protect their children from harmful content online, including sexual exploitation, bullying, and product recommendations.
It imposes a duty of care, a legal responsibility that's enforceable against the big tech platform if they drive this content through the black box algorithms.
That's Democrat Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. He's co-sponsoring the bill along with Republican Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. New research says ADHD and autism may lead to an earlier death. Brian Shook reports.
A review of data from 1988 through 2021 found that an early death due to natural and unnatural causes was more than twice as likely in people with autism or ADHD. Researchers said those with ADHD had an unexpectedly high number of early deaths from unnatural causes, such as suicide and homicide. The study found that those with autism had a higher risk of dying early from natural causes than those with ADHD. I'm Brian Shook.
Hillary Clinton is set to deliver the keynote address at the New York State Democratic Party convention. Jim Forbes with more.
The former Democratic senator, Secretary of State, and 2016 presidential nominee will speak to delegates gathered in New York City. Clinton's appearance might breathe life into speculation about another run for the White House. But after her loss to former President Donald Trump in 2016, she said she would not run for president again. I'm Jim Forbes.
The family of Full House star Bob Saget is suing officials in Florida. They don't want the medical examiner or a sheriff to release records into his death investigation, saying it serves no legitimate public interest. Saget died last month in a Florida hotel room from head trauma. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, thank you, Michael Kastner, for that one, as we are getting more information on the things that are going on outside there. Inside of the world, it is currently 46 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it's time to bring in Johnny Smalls with a Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Daryl. Arthur C. Clarke said, "The limits of the possible can only be defined by going beyond them into the impossible." An amazing quote. Think about this for a moment. Many things we take for granted today were completely impossible a few generations ago. If our grandparents' were able to see the world we live in today, they would be absolutely amazed. I'm sure they wouldn't see the need for much of it. I'm not sure that I do either. But the fact is, we can click a button and we can transfer a thought to every corner of the world in an instant. That's nothing short of amazing. Now, we just need to use all of that for good. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alessamorgan.com. How do you feel about your body image? Hopefully, we spend most of our time in a body positive or body neutral state. However, sometimes insecurities come up. Your body image has a significant impact on the relationship you have with your physique and your ability to achieve your wellness goals. It encompasses your perception, beliefs, feelings, thoughts, and actions that relate to your physical appearance. The 4 aspects of your body image include perceptual, how you see yourself; affective, how you feel about your looks; cognitive, these are the thoughts and beliefs you hold about your body; and behavioral, the actions you take in relation to your physical appearance. These 4 aspects imply that we have a lot of control over our body image when we are using the right strategies. For additional resources on wellness, check out alessamorgan.com.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on as we are hanging and banging here. 49 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's go. Let's go with it. Let's talk some more about some other things that are happening inside of the world. Squidward. Yes, last year Squid Game was the most watched Netflix show out there, not to mention one of the most searched internet queries. So there you go. And now real life experience has been created in Saudi Arabia. The city of Riyadh is home of the giant Squid Game experience, for the first of its kind in the world, where players are able to take part of 6 trials from the series: red light, green light, tug of war, marbles games, and glass hopping challenge, and the honeycomb game, and of course the final showdown. The Squid Game itself, 70 players are able to be a part at a time, and which they are receiving and wearing costumes identical to the TV series. But it is one of those informations where you get worried of, is it going to happen like the participants on the show, where they get killed at at the end if they fail to complete a challenge. Well, don't sweat it. The version of the Squid Game is much safer. For example, on stepping on the stone game, instead of stepping on glass that shatters, causing the player to plummet to their death. They have sensors that on the tug of the 3 meters. A fake death or not, the Squid Game is, of course, very popular and said to be sold out most days. There is an actual link for it, but I don't think that you'll be going to Saudi Arabia anytime soon, so I don't even know if we should talk about it. I haven't seen the show, but I just, to be clear, does the Squid Game champion win a suction cup? That is just a question there. And somehow I can't see how this one is going to be coming to Disney parks anytime soon. Maybe that's something else to think about for sure.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Well, it's so much for that excuse. If you've done one of those people who to claim that they haven't got time to work out, guess what? A new study found that lifting weights for as little as 3 seconds a day has a positive impact on your muscular strength. Researchers in Australia and Japan found that performing a single bicep curl with effort can lead to a 10% increase in muscle strength in about 1 month. The team studied 39 college students who performed one muscle contraction at a max effort of 3 seconds a day for 5 days a week over 4 weeks. That led to researchers said that the release that many people think that you have to spend the time exercising, but it's not the case. Sure, good quality exercise can still be good for your body, and every muscle contraction counts. I wish I would have had the study when I was in college. Then at least I would have been able to say that I put maximum effort into something. College students, what kind of beer do you drink when lifting? Maybe that will be the other question that you could actually ask, because maybe that's the way to look at it. I don't know, maybe something just to think about as we are talking this morning.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Some information inside of there. Take a listen to this real quick. A Maryland police officer is being hailed as a hero, helping keep an unruly passenger out of a plane's cockpit. Richard Reynolds says that he reacted to what had been noticed as some kind of disruption.
I just lunged at him and went to go tackle him because I just really was concerned that was going to be an issue and take that whole flight. The door got open.
Okay, the American Airlines flight on its way to D.C. from California on Sunday when the suspect reportedly assaulted a crew member in an attempt to enter the cockpit. 4 men quickly jumped into action to hold the man down. The flight was diverted to an airport in Kansas City. No injuries were reported. So there you go. Some information always going on inside. I mean, think about that. Think about being out there. Think about being out there on a plane and all of a sudden you see an issue like that. And of course, I would imagine this guy had to be, well, it says that he's a police officer, but think about that. Think about how when air marshals have to interact with some of the things that are going on at the same time. It's just mind-boggling to me on some of the things that happen from time to time inside of the airplanes as of late. Anyways, let's talk about some other things before we get you out of here. We move over to RadioBig.fm. Let me take a look-see over here because this is going to be importante. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2021, Denver records its lowest temperature in 70 years with -2 degrees Fahrenheit. So there you go. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about those real quick. Ava Max turns 28. The Weeknd turns 32. Elizabeth Olsen turns 33. Lupe Fiasco turns 40 today. Valentino Rossi, 43. Emily Harper, 44. Amanda Holden, 51. Ice-T, 63. LeVar Burton turns 65 today. And June Brown turns 95. If you're looking at some things that happened back on this date, I got a couple of those that we just discussed, but let's talk about some days of the year that you can celebrate now. It's National Almond Day and also National Do a Grouch a Favor Day. Do a grouch a favor. How fitting does that sound? Day. I didn't realize that there's a whole day dedicated to that. So do you do them like one favor or do you do multiple favors? Maybe that's the question to ask for sure.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, let's continue as we are speaking, moving, and grooving inside of here. Let me give you some whack facts real quick for today. The human brain has the capacity to store everything that you experience. The term brain freeze was invented by 7-Eleven. A surfer once sued another surfer for stealing his wave. Generally, the colder the air, the smaller the snowflakes are. The tomato in Arkansas official state vegetable and official state fruit all at the same time. And astronauts cannot burp in space. So there you go, some useless knowledge, I guess, in combination for you all at the same time. Anyways, let me tell you real quick before I forget about what my friends have going on real quick. Sidney Dekker and Todd Conklin have released this book right here called Do Safety Differently. If you're interested in taking a read to it, there's 2 versions currently out, the paperback version of the book itself. And what else do you have? The Kindle version of the book. That's Do Safety Differently, written by Sidney Dekker and Todd Conklin. If you want to find out more information about it, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/Amazon. Safetyfm.com/Amazon. And the book is readily available right there for you. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about a couple more things real quick. If you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. With the great power comes great electricity bill. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Name something that smells great but tastes awful. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 20% of people admit that they have pulled an all-nighter in order to do this. What is it? It's actually to binge watch a TV show. So that's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever pulled an all-nighter just to watch a TV show. I've done all-nighters for other things. That is for sure, but probably not stuff that we should probably talk about because nobody wants to hear on how I was a yard junkie for a bus depot because, I mean, I'm sure that that's not going to be super exciting for you to hear. Anyway, so let's continue as we are 57 minutes into it. At the top of the hour, as like I said, I will be going over to radiobig.fm. So please come over with me where we can hang out, do some things, take a listen to some music, and go from there. Anyways, thanks again for taking a listen to this show as we are 500 episodes in. I would have never imagined we would have made it this far there. So I do appreciate it on you doing everything that you do to keep it consistent on what's going on. I'm going to do one more quick drop for you. You got 30 seconds. Take a listen to this.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Giles Gibson. Ukraine's president says he hasn't seen any evidence yet of Russian forces pulling back from the 2 countries' border. British media reports Prince Andrew will pay Virginia Giuffre more than £12 million as part of their out-of-court settlement. And inflation in the UK increased again in January, another blow for consumers struggling with rising prices.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so that's going to pretty much do it for today. I really do appreciate the time, like I said. Anyways, 500 in. Appreciated everything that you've done. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. The road to success is dotted with tempting parking spaces. Think about that. Think about how many times you're going down one path and you said, hey, if it might be better just to go ahead and do that opposed to doing this, and look where you are now. Boy, is that a different scenario. Anyways, like we've been talking about all day, just all kinds of interesting stuff hanging out here. By the way, if you're interested in the newest ebook that we have available, QR codes available on the actual streaming service, if you're on the video streaming service. But as you are aware, we are a radio station first before we are a streaming service. So if you want to find out more, you can go to Safety FM Plus, that's PLUS.com, to find out more information. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.